Hey everyone, and welcome back to TTI. Today we're diving into a seriously cool project with the crew from RR Buildings, the epic construction of a Barndominium. Yep, you heard that right, part barn, part house, all awesome. So here's how it all kicks off. First up, the team gets busy grading the land to make sure everything's nice and level. Once the dirt is sorted, they pour the concrete foundation walls. This creates a solid, flat base to build on. From there, it's time to raise the main structure using post-frame construction. That basically means they're working with big vertical posts spaced out evenly and horizontal boards called girts that tie everything together. Most of the time, those posts are pressure-treated wood, built to last and strong enough to carry the roof's weight. Before they can throw a roof on this beast, there's a ton of preparations. The crew adds blocking between the posts and girts. Think of it like beefing up the skeleton of the building. This extra bracing keeps everything from twisting or shifting, especially handy if you're dealing with strong winds or even earthquakes. It basically makes the whole frame tougher and more resistant to nature's tantrums. Next up, roof trusses. These things are huge and heavy, so they roll in with a telehandler to lift and position them. Once a truss is up, it gets temporarily braced and checked to make sure it's sitting nice and plumb. If all looks good, the team locks it in with permanent fasteners. Then comes the roof sheathing, the part that turns a bunch of trusses into an actual roof deck. The sheathing panels are laid out and carefully sealed at every seam to keep water and air from sneaking in. Around this time, they've already framed out the windows too, making sure the openings line up perfectly with the building's design. Wall sheathing comes next, wrapping the whole frame in what's basically the structural skin of the house. They start from a set point and work their way around, using ring shank nails or screws in a tight pattern for strength. The joints are staggered between rows to avoid weak spots, and the sheathing even extends out to the roof eaves, where it sets the stage for drip edges and flashing to keep water moving away from the house, not into it. To finish off the roof panels, the crew uses hidden clips and a sticky butyl tape underneath for a watertight seal. Those clips also allow the metal panels to expand and contract without shifting out of place. All in all, it's one solid, weatherproof, and ridiculously good-looking build. Alright folks, we're heading inside now, and no, that concrete floor isn't just some gray slab they forgot about. It's the foundation of everything happening in the interior. After it's poured and cured, it becomes the rock-solid base for the rest of the build. But here's the thing, when you've got this much open space, keeping the temperature under control is key. So the crew grabs their spray foam gear and goes to town with closed cell foam. Why? Because it's got a super high R value and it blocks both air and moisture like a champ. While that foam cures, the team heads back outside to give the place some serious curb appeal. Time for stone veneer. But it's not just about looks. They're smart about it, adding flashing tape or metal flashing around all the edges and transitions to shoo water away from any weak spots. And pro tip, they leave a little gap, about an inch or two, between the bottom of the veneer and the ground. That way, moisture doesn't sneak up from below. A starter strip keeps that first row perfectly level. Next up is wrapping the rest of the exterior walls with flashing, then moving on to siding. And not just any siding LP Smart Side Expert Finish vertical panels. These get installed from the bottom up, overlapping like shingles to shed water away. Once all the panels are up, they finish it off with trim around the tops, sides, and any returns to make it look clean and finished. Meanwhile, they start installing the exterior doors, framing them up, and getting them set. If the stone veneer is only going partway up the wall, they finish it off with a nice capstone or trim piece at the top to keep water from pooling and causing trouble later on. Back inside, now that the foam and concrete are fully cured, it's time to frame out the interior walls. First, the crew double checks the floor plans to make sure they're putting walls in the right spots. Then they map out where the electrical wires, plumbing, and HVAC runs will go. If a vent or drain pipe is coming through a wall, they'll adjust the framing to leave space for it. Once everything's mapped, they build and raise each wall section, anchoring it straight into the concrete slab. With the framing and foam in place, the walls are ready to be prepped for drywall or whatever finish comes next. For interior comfort, especially in bedrooms or offices, they add extra insulation. Closed cell foam does the heavy lifting on the exterior, but inside, they bring in fiberglass bats or mineral wool. Fiberglass helps dampen sound, while mineral wool steps it up with better fire resistance and even stronger thermal protection. Finally, if there's a mezzanine or second floor, the layout's marked and the support beams go in. These bad boys carry the big loads, so the team makes sure everything is bolted down tight, especially if the beam sits on a ledger or bracket. Now that the interior's taking shape, it's time to tackle the upper ceiling and sketch out where the mezzanine will go. One of the coolest things about a barndominium is all that wide open space inside. Unlike traditional homes with walls everywhere, this place is built like a giant blank canvas, no load-bearing walls cluttering things up. That means the layout can evolve as needs change, which is where something called adaptive zoning kicks in. Fancy term, but it basically means they're keeping things flexible. Even with all that freedom, the team already picked out the prime spots for windows. They framed out those openings ahead of time. After prepping the rough openings, they go in with a solid flashing system to make sure no water sneaks in. Then it's time to drop in the windows prefab units that come with handy nail fins. These fins get secured right to the structure, so those windows stay put even when the building flexes a bit with hot and cold weather. They double-check the alignment with a laser and level, fill in any tiny gaps with sealant, and add protective covers so the windows stay safe during the rest of the build. Back inside, it's finally time to go vertical. The stairs aren't just a way to get to the mezzanine, they're a centerpiece. The team starts by cutting the stringers, which are like the skeleton of the staircase. Every rise and run is measured down to the millimeter to make sure each step is safe, sturdy, and stylish. It's not just a staircase, it's a statement. Once the team finishes cutting the custom stringers, those angled supports that make the stairs possible, they shift gears to the next big interior job, drywall. Now, drywall might not sound all that exciting, but it's a crucial step in wrapping up the insulated walls. Since this Barndominium already has a snug outer shell made of closed cell spray foam, the drywall adds not just a finished look, but another layer of insulation and soundproofing. It's all about turning that wide-open shell into something that actually feels like a home. Meanwhile, outside, they're gearing up for one of the standout features, a massive wraparound porch. This thing isn't just for show. It gives the building a softer, more welcoming look and acts as a nice transition between indoors and nature. Bonus points: it helps shade the windows, keeping the house cooler and saving on energy bills. The porch also hides a bunch of the more industrial elements, like utility lines and structural bits, which makes everything look more polished. Building the porch starts with careful framing and layout. Then comes the roof trusses spaced every 2 feet, just like in standard house builds. What's cool about this kind of build is how post-frame construction can speed things up. Compared to a traditional stick-built house, the open design of a Barndominium lets the team work more efficiently. From pouring the foundation to the final finishing touches, they kept a steady pace without cutting corners. The look may say barn, but the inside is anything but think polished, spacious, and full of clean design lines. The structure nods to the American barn tradition, but uses updated techniques like hidden fasteners and butyl tape to modernize performance. This balance of old-school charm and high-tech reliability is exactly why barndominiums are exploding in popularity, especially in rural areas where people want space, simplicity, and low maintenance. Barndominiums aren't just cool-looking barn-style homes, they're a lifestyle. One of the big reasons they're exploding in popularity is the insane flexibility they offer. Want an open-concept layout today and a walled-off home office tomorrow? No problem. These structures are built with a strong post-frame skeleton, meaning you can reconfigure the interior without worrying about compromising the building strength. Whether it's for a multi-generational household, a personal gym, or your dream workshop full of loud, dusty tools, the layout can adapt as your life does. That kind of flexibility is a big reason why barndominiums are becoming a defining part of rural architecture. They look like barns on the outside, but pack a punch inside. And let's be honest, people aren't just building these for charm. They're realizing the long-term value too. A well-built barndominium isn't just a place to live, it's a solid investment. You get something that looks amazing, functions like a dream, and holds up over time. While the main roof uses standing seam metal panels, the porch roof strikes a balance between strength and style. The trusses are locked in with engineered connectors, and the overhang is measured precisely so rain gets directed away from the house. The fascia and porch walls get covered in weather-resistant materials, and everything's finished off with sharp-looking trim and clean metal ceiling panels. That metal not only looks modern, it'll last forever and laughs in the face of bad weather. Meanwhile, outside, the crew heads back up top to finish the porch roof. This isn't just a matter of slapping some panels on and calling it a day. They use laser levels and all sorts of high-tech gear to make sure each metal panel is lined up just right. The result is a roof that's both sleek and solid. The metal panels aren't just about looks either. They help boost energy efficiency and keep the building protected from rain, snow, sun, and whatever else the skies decide to throw down. And when installed correctly, they form a tight, weather-resistant seal that'll last for years.
There. All right, back out. Come here.
But while the tools are humming, let's zoom out and talk about the big picture. This Barndominium, like others built by RR Buildings, is part of a growing trend. People love the idea of combining rustic barn vibes with all the comforts of modern living. In this case, the entire project took about 9 months and likely landed somewhere between $500,000 and $750,000, not exactly cheap. But when you see the final result, it makes sense. In this project, the team took things even further by building all the furniture from scratch. Yep, no flat pack boxes from big box stores. From the beginning, furniture was part of the construction plan. That especially shows in the kitchen, which was designed as the heart of the home. Custom cabinets were a major focus. These weren't just slapped together. Either they were built using high-quality materials, selected for their durability, clean finish, and ability to survive years of cooking chaos. They chose a product called Expert Finish, which gives the cabinets a sleek, polished look that actually matches the exterior of the house. This design choice created a visual flow from outside to inside, tying the whole aesthetic together. And instead of just basic boxy cabinets, the team went with what's called an extended style, adding depth and precision detailing like carefully measured panel returns and intentional spacing. It's the kind of craftsmanship that you don't always notice right away, but it makes the space feel truly dialed in. Even the cabinet layout was optimized for real-life use. The team mapped out the kitchen work triangle: sink, fridge, stove to keep movement easy and efficient. Built-in storage solutions like pull-out drawers, hidden organizers, and low-profile handles make every square inch useful without ruining the clean look. Subtle textures and muted color contrast gave it that extra pop of modern style without screaming for attention. One of the standout features? Hand-milled cedar railings that add warmth and personality, making the whole space feel custom-built rather than cookie-cutter. The team was especially proud of how the rugged elements played so well with the polished finishes. And just when you think they're done, boom, they go bold with the ceiling. The great room's interior wraps up with galvanized steel panels overhead. It's a gutsy move, but it works. The metal reflects light and gives the space a bright, industrial twist that blends beautifully with the barn meets modern vibe. At the tail end of the build, they knock out the last finishing touches like installing transition strips where two flooring types meet. It's a small detail, but it's what prevents trips and keeps the whole space looking intentional and polished. This Barndominium isn't just a house, it's a statement. The carpenters on this build weren't just throwing up trim and calling it a day, they were all about those satisfying details. Even the baseboards and door casings matched up flawlessly, and in spots where eyes would naturally land like outside corners, they got a little fancy. Instead of using random scraps, they carefully cut those pieces from the same board to wrap the wood grain around the edge. It's the kind of thing you don't always notice, but you'd definitely miss if it weren't done. Once all the doors were hung, they didn't just walk away, they tested every single one to make sure it swung smoothly and latched properly. No squeaky hinges or stubborn handles here. And to tie it all together, they chose a color palette that echoed the outside of the house. Think warm grays, earthy tones, and a few bold accent walls that played nicely with the stone veneer and sleek black metal roof. Inside, the walls were kept mostly light clean whites and soft neutrals, letting standout features like rough sawn cedar posts and modern light fixtures really pop. This Barndominium isn't just huge, it's warm, inviting, and tailored to the people who live in it. Their hope is that this place doesn't just stand as a great home, but as inspiration for anyone dreaming of building something unique, beautiful, and totally their own. The whole building just feels consistent and well thought out, from the roof to the trim.